And look at this now.
Oh, isn't that beautiful? So
Oh,
he's
it has
also the
inscription on that.
yeah, that's what I was going to say. The tiger's head is inscribed.
Okay, it says Muhammad Khaqan. Khaqan. I cannot read this, but this one, Allah, Allah. Right. Interesting. Very interesting. Very.
Yeah, see, well, yeah, the sultans of Mysore were Muslim, though a lot of their soldiers were Hindu. Because India, despite the fact that they separated into castes and there were different religions and everything, they states had to make everybody work together, otherwise it wasn't practical.
Yeah,
So
they did. In
there was a
spite
lot
of
of
all sometimes emotional things, all Rajputs were fighting against Muslims. I mean, many Rajputs had Muslim warriors or other way around. Mughals had
yeah.
Rajputs
Oh
warriors,
yeah.
right? You
Well,
know?
what I remember reading. I think this was about fighting in the mountains. British Army, Indian troops, and each group of troops had their own cook
Yeah.
because if you were Brahmin, you didn't want to be cooked for by somebody who wasn't a Brahmin. So that they, like the English were used to having messes and everybody
Yeah.
eating at the same place, and the Indians weren't going to go for that. That's just uncivilized. So every small group of soldiers of a particular ethnic group and caste would have their own cook of the appropriate caste to cook for them. And I just thought, this is and that all worked. I mean, the English used large Indian armies successfully. I mean, they dressed them like English people and gave them English weapons, but the core they never lost their Indianness
Yes.
and their particular beliefs, which I think is impressive.
Impressive.
But this is these oh that's even better up close, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a stunning piece.
Yeah. Look at the blade.
That blade, yeah,
Such a beautiful dagger. My
yeah,
God.
and you'd have to have very strong armor, very strong mail. I mean, to stop that blade if a big man was stabbing you with it, because I mean, one of the things that was really popular all through India and the Hindu and Muslim areas was wrestling,
Yes.
and they had training schools for wrestlers. I mean, it's the same as Iran with Zircon and things like that. But all this training, plus they had training for sword fighting and actual martial type arts. This built up wrist strength. It built up stamina. It
Yeah.
built up, all your movements so that you
Yes.
had very good movements. It was fearsomely effective. And then you have really well made weapons to express yourself with, so to speak.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great looking stuff.
Oh, we had that already. We talked about it, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Look at just
Such
the
a
rock crystal bead. How
yeah.
intricate the con.
It's been checkered like you do a pistol grip.
Yes, exactly. Check it like a
I mean,
pistol grip. Yeah, you're right. You're
except
right.
we've done it on rock crystal, which is a lot harder.
You're
Yeah.
right.
So
Like a
then we've got.
pistol grip. When I saw this,
Oh,
what does it remind me of? You're right. Check it like a pistol
yeah.
grip. Yeah, yeah.
And for the same reason, to give a good hold.
Yeah,
So I
right.
was right. The horse has got a parasol above it, but there's nobody on it. It's got a shield, I think, maybe a
Now
helmet.
we have the close up of that. You're right. Here.
Yeah,
Yeah. Parasol.
yeah. And we've got the. I assume it's some kind of naga. The second figure from the right has got like a snake body, but the immediate thing I thought of was a mermaid, but that's clearly not true.
These
uh,
Indian. Yeah, you're right.
yeah,
Okay, okay, yes. Yeah.
yeah. And there's a. Oh yeah, below the horse or to the left of the horse is a throne
It's a
tucked.
throne. Yes, it is a
Yeah.
throne.
So this has got all kinds of auspicious symbols on it, but done in relief with gilding, and I think silver's been applied to some of them as well.
Yeah,
Or it could be just the reflection of the gold. It's a bit hard to tell.
yeah.
It's really, really well done. And it's kind of, like a bit whimsical. Because when you're thinking of all these figures, this is a really strong knife. Um, but we've got all these cute little figures on it because, well, you get bored, you pull it out, you look at the pictures, you put it back in the scabbard, whatever. When you're a prince, these things happen.
And auspicious elements, as you mentioned that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, yeah, because this is all for your
Yeah.
protection, I think, in some ways, or to
Indeed,
enhance your
in that
status.
one of my books from written in Persian in India, I think it was about the crucible steel and classification of weapons, and then part of it, which I said one of our colleagues didn't translate, but I did, was that before the battle they went and they took their sword out, the crucible steel, and looked at the reflection of the moon on it. And based on the reflection, they decided if next day they could go to fight or they should just stay in the camps. And it was so,
Oh yeah,
it's so beautiful.
is it a
I know
good
it's
omen?
superstitious, And then some of the
Yeah.
colleagues didn't translate that. So, yeah, this is all superstitions. Yeah, my
Well,
God,
yeah.
this
The thing
belongs to
is that
that, you know?
yeah, but the other thing is it's double standards. Newspapers still have astrology columns in them. And everybody that reads that newspaper went to school and there was at least some physics classes so that they know astrology doesn't work, but they still believe it or they still enjoy it as amusement.
Yeah, you're right.
I think we've got to look at some of the mystical things as also um, just being cultural. They're just part of people's culture to believe these things.
And I
And
remember Nojumul Ulum, science of stars. So it talks about weapon classification, and part of it, you need to bring your weapon in connection to the stars and the moon and the sun or something like that. The reflection. It's beautiful, I think, Beat. It's really beautiful.
I mean, this is kind of culture is deep.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't always mean that, oh, look, we've got to fight them tomorrow. It's a bad day for fighting. Well, we've still got to fight them. We'll just be more cautious. Maybe it helped them. Who
Yeah.
knows? But yeah, whereas when somebody in modern times comes up to me and says something like, "Oh, it's an unlucky day for me. It's a day that starts with T," and I find it hard to take that seriously. But 200 years ago, the world was a different place.
Yes, exactly. Excuse
Oh
me.
yeah, there's Kanda. See the back on the Kanda at the top.
Yeah.
How the metal um,
This one.
reinforcement, yeah,
Yeah.
it's all been pierced and carved and everything to make a repeating pattern. It's just so much hard work to do that. And it could just be a straight strip of metal and it wouldn't make any difference to the function of the sword. Oh, it's notable that two things to take away from Kandas is not meant for stabbing.
Mhm.
We
Yes.
don't have a point. These are slashing swords. And
Yes.
we have provision for a two-handed grip. You can use that
Yes.
two-handed if you want to. So when you were serious about, you know, doing something very nasty to somebody, this is the sword that could do it.
Yes. Here. The
Yeah.
spike for double-handed. Yeah.
Yeah. And that also can be used for protecting the wrist, and it
Yes.
could be used for hooking over a shield to pull the shield down. And see, these swords are so sharp and the edges are so thin that you could just flick it like that and it would cut a person open to the bone.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I rested one on my wrist, and the weight of it started to cut into the skin.
Yes.
It was that sharp. You didn't need to push it or anything, just the physical weight of the sword.
Yes.
Because this was a designed to optimize thin hard steel.
And Pete, look at these mace. This flange mace is meant for business, right? Look at that.
Yeah, and notice these ones that have the toolbar hilts are much longer
Yes.
than normal maces. And I think there's two advantages. The toolbar hilt stops it flying out of your hand if you miss.
Yeah.
And the length means you can use it from horseback back like
Yes.
a polo mallet,
Yes. Absolutely.
except it would do a lot more damage. Though I bet you could do a lot of damage with a polo mallet too. I couldn't control those. And see, also there was velvet padded lining in the basket hilt to stop yourself from getting hurt.
Oh, here.
I
Yes.
believe that.
Here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I think often the actual hilt where you're holding it, the handle where you're holding it, also could be covered in
Mm-hmm.
velvet. I'm trying to remember. I've got a Ferengi and it's
Mm-hmm.
got traces of its original lining. I can't remember whether it
Mm-hmm.
covered the handle or not.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, that even without it, those thin handles are really quite comfortable because the pommel fits into your hand there, and you just seem to have a really good feel. The other thing is that that guard
Mm-hmm.
often is just angled, so it's
Yeah.
not like a smooth curve or anything. It's just an angle, with the bottom of the angle
Yeah.
being the center line of the sword.
Bede, look at this. What is this?
Is that? I thought originally it was the lock on the cabinet,
Oh,
but it's in the wrong place, and it's on the inside, not the outside.
yeah, exactly.
So
What is it?
could it be that this sword has a small gun barrel attached to it?
It could be, yeah.
Because
Could be.
combination weapons were quite common,
Yeah.
and that does look vaguely like it could be a gun barrel that's been welded onto the.
Yeah.
So you're in battle. I don't know how you'd shoot it. I don't know what the firing mechanism is. I can see something vaguely underneath it
Yeah.
on the thick quilliam block there, but I don't know. It appears to have a pricker or something attached to it
Yeah.
for cleaning out the
Yeah.
underneath it.
Yes, underneath. Yeah. No idea.
Yeah.
Look at this beat. Another one.
Wow. See, these are really fearsome weapons.
They are. God, they are fearsome. They're fearsome.
In the hands of an expert, and let's remember that people, even the British sepoys, uh, before they even came and signed up, they
Yeah.
probably were practicing, 3 or 4 days a week at sword cuts and things in the village,
Yes.
because in villages had their sword masters and they taught all the
Yes.
basic skills. And when they were in the British Indian Army, they were still practicing every day.
Yes, they
They
were.
never, because it was part of their professional pride. I mean, they might have been working for the British, but they were a member of a clan and a village and whatever. And if you didn't perform well, it would reflect badly on your family.
Yes.
So they took their soldiering very seriously. I like the metal fitting on the scabbard with all the piercing.
Yeah, so beautiful. Really.
Yeah, I mean, just everyday thing. We're just going to make it look really nice.
Yes. Look at how solid this dagger is, Beat.
Oh, these are fearsome. They really are. As I say, I've handled about 8 or 9 of these, and in the hand, because those the hand grip part is almost diamond shaped. So
Yeah.
when you hold it, it doesn't move.
Yeah.
It's really firm, and because it's all smooth steel in smooth curves, it's very comfortable. These are again blade downwards daggers,
Yes.
but see
Oh,
that ball on the pommel of the dagger.
let me show it,
Our
please. Yeah.
experience, yeah.
Yeah.
If you hit someone here with
Yeah.
that, so there, and you just go bang like that, you would fracture the bone in the skull. They're really solid. They look like just decorative finials, but they're solid steel.
Solid. Yes, solid steel. Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, the blades themselves are very, very
Look at
robust.
the scabbard mouths and the shape. They're also beautiful, Beat.
Yeah, they've kind of done everything to make it. Uh, the 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 steel is still so shiny that the scabbard mouth is reflecting stuff from you
Yes.
can you just suddenly oh yeah, that's metal. It looks like it's a piece of cloth, but it's reflecting cloth from another part of the thing.
Yes.
And then you see that very fine gold work. I mean, it's really excellently done.
Excellent. Yes. And
Yeah.
the other one?
Oh yeah. Oh, it's got a scallop blade.
Yeah.
That would be a bit terrifying if somebody came at you with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already a very fierce looking dagger. And again, if you lived in India, you would know people that could use this at a level that's hard to imagine.
So
And then it
serrated
comes
blade.
along and it's got a serrated edge on both sides.
Yeah.
So no
Both
matter
sides.
what happens, it's going to hurt you. But on the other hand, it's beautifully made.
Beautiful. Yeah. Oh, now we go here, Beat. The Kukuri
Oh,
Indian
right.
style.
So yeah. So definitely a relative of the cookery. That that's a hunting scene, isn't it?
Yeah,
But it's a
Hindu. Yeah,
Hindu clothing and everything.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so this might be a hunting
Yeah,
cookery for very rich peoples to carry
yes, for
around.
rich people.
Uh, um, I mean, it's a work of art. When
Yes.
a sword is decorated like this with hunting scenes, the in some collectors and in some parts of India they call it shikari, hunting
Ah,
piece.
mm,
And this to me has that feel to it.
mm,
Um,
mm.
the blade is looks again. We're looking at a photograph, and I'm not going to make the mistake of thinking I know how thick the blade is. But it does look a bit thinner
Yeah.
than the average cookery, but it's
Yes, because
wider.
kukuris are very, yeah, normally solid blades. Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah. Well, my theory is if you turned it around, a normal cookery, if you turned it around and had the edge facing you and you hit someone with the back, you'd knock them out anyway.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
I
They're
mean, because
very
they're
thick,
so solid.
very, very thick,
Yeah.
solid blades. Ah,
These things are fearsome. They
and
they always have an eye.
these typical radish, decoration on them,
Yeah,
and this eye on them. Oh, I forgot the
yeah.
name of them. Oh God, I don't remember. But anyhow, an
They
interesting beat. There are two styles, and they have both
mm.
styles here, right? You see?
Yeah, yeah. So you've got the like the bird's beak style, and then the one with the swept back
Yeah.
um blade tip. Both of them. I mean, we know these are very serious implements. I was going to say tools because really they're for sacrifice. They're not like for fighting. Though, if you met somebody that could wield one of those in a fight, you would be very unhappy. Um, but they're meant to be entirely practical, yet they're so well designed. So much thought has gone into that.
It's unbelievable.
You see these things and you think to yourself, how could you do that?
Yes.
So much work. Oh, up close. Oh, look at the workmanship on those.
Yes. Aren't
Oh,
they
that's impressive.
beautiful, beat? Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know that some collectors think that the cupped over Bazaban shape on the elbow is particularly Indian. I've seen it on Persian ones too, so I don't think
Yes.
that's true. The ones where it comes down and curls out a bit, I think that is particularly Indian, but I'm not sure. There's a lot of styles of Bazuband,
Yes.
and
We,
it's
we had a video on them. Do you remember different styles of
yeah,
Basel
yeah,
band? Yeah.
yeah. I mean, they to me they seem a really practical protection
Yeah.
because your natural defense is that.
Yes,
And
it is.
Bazabands give you a very, very good protection. So you don't have to think about how to use them.
No.
And of course, one of the areas when you're using a sword that you strike on your opponent is along here. You
Yes.
try and get your sword in there because once you damage those tendons, he can't close his hand.
And as I also translated, there are lots of reports that they actively, together with the shield, used their bazoo band for defense.
Yeah.
And do
Yeah,
you
I could
remember
see.
we had that the bazoo band was here, and then they use small shield, so they call it
Yeah.
mushroom. So it looks like a mushroom,
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah,
like
yeah.
this.
The other
And
thing is that
people, like this European sword and buckler, they always think only about this small shield.
yeah,
But guys, they had this bazoo band. This is mushroom
yeah.
concept. It's not only that
And
small shield. Yeah.
the other thing that's interesting is that some of the Indian ones have like a little ridge that goes transversely partway down, which if a blade comes down there, it stops it from sliding off into your upper arm. And
Ah,
if it
yeah.
comes down
Good
that
point.
way, it stops it sliding into your hand.
Yes.
And I mean, they're beaten out hollow. It doesn't make the Bazaban particularly heavier. But see,
Yes.
these are really good pieces of armor. And they started the earliest Bazuband I've seen in an artistic depiction is the wooden shield from Mount Mug in what was Sogdia at the time, Transoxania. So that was about 900. So that's a long, long time that they've been using these. In the Iranian
Yes.
culture sphere.
Oh, we talked about it last time when we talked
Yeah,
about
because
the.
you had the picture of the shield, remember?
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah. Uh they're a really good piece of armor. I
yes,
mean, Charina, I am almost convinced
yes,
this is a development um
yes,
of armor to reinforce that soft part of your abdomen, but it becomes plate armor when guns become common
yes.
because nobody wants to get a bullet in your abdomen or the lower part of your chest. And the Japanese had a similar idea around about the same time.
Yeah.
It you could make this quite heavy and solid, and whereas wearing a whole armor that was bulletproof would have been a difficulty.
Yeah.
Wearing something that's just covering that soft part of your body, um, you could afford to go a bit thicker, maybe 3 mil or something like
Yes.
that. I don't know what the dimensions of these are in thickness
Yes.
because I don't think I've ever seen a paper on how thick you should make them or whatever. It's probably in one of the books that you're
Yeah.
going to translate that they'll say, oh yeah, you always need this. But the thing is, you can make a charina out of hardened leather. You can make it out of watered steel.
Yes.
Um, it's technically fairly straightforward to make,
Yes.
but functionally, it's really good. It's interesting that Joshan armors, which essentially covered the same area, made of lamellar or laminated or small plates and mail or like a
Yes.
Bektesh or something like that. These were known for centuries.
Yes.
But when guns got really dangerous, people said we've got to go one step further.
Yes.
And of course, from an artisan's point of view, you've got all these almost flat surfaces to decorate.
Yes.
You can turn them into absolute works of art. And that one is
Yes.
absolutely beautiful.
Yes. Very beautiful. And
Is that
please
got a
look at
oh,
this one.
oh dear. Oh goodness. So
Bejeweled.
we've got white jade inlaid with jewels, set in gold, serrated edge blade, reinforced point. Yeah, that's got everything going for it. Even the scabbard is lovely. Scabbard's got two mounting points, so it was meant to be slung rather than
Yes.
stuffed in the belt.
Interesting. Yeah. This is
Yeah.
Rolex of weapons.
Oh, yeah. And this is the thing when you're walking through the bazaar with your bodyguards, people will take one look at that and say, "Oh, hey, he's not home at the moment. Let's go and rob his house." No, this
I think
guy
going
is.
to a bazaar with this, absolutely, you need bodyguards. Very good
Oh
point.
yeah, you would just no, it would be so. I think the kind of people that could afford this rarely went to anywhere without their bodyguards.
No, of course.
Uh, it's just there's just too much wealth there. I mean, individually the jewels are small and they're odd shapes and things like that, but they're made into flowers and leaves and vines, and that's what's important about it. Not how much does that emerald weigh or how much does that ruby weigh, and I think I can see the odd diamond in there as well. That's not the point. The point is the inlay. I mean, obviously, in India they made arches rings this way as well.
Yes.
And there's always the argument they're so highly decorated. Would you ever shoot a bow with them? And my answer is, if somebody's about to kill you, yep, you don't worry if a diamond goes flying off in the air. If you save your life. Now that is a real work of sculpture, isn't it?
Yes.
It's a
Similar shields
metal.
are in this Czech collection. Znojmo Museum I've worked for. There are two similar shields of them. They have it there as well.
I think it was a popular design.
Yeah.
I've seen low grade ones and high grade ones like this, and they clearly come from the same design concept. It's just that the high grade ones are like this. They are works of art.
They are. Like this
The
one.
good thing about a beautiful shield is that you can hang it on the wall like a painting. It's a sword. You've got to have racks and you've got to have take it out of the scabbard to show people and things like that. A shield you can just hang on the wall and everybody walking past will say, "Oh, that's beautiful," and stop and look at it. Unfortunately, the shield I've got on the wall is plain black buffalo hide with a bit of silver on the bosses, so it doesn't really qualify to this level of decoration. I got to admit, it's really, really pretty.
Yeah.
And it's like there's different techniques. So you've got I'm guessing it's watered steel. Then you've got Kofgari work. Then
Yes.
you've got applied gilded metal pieces to
Yes.
raise the design. And I mean, around the border is kind of a classic thing you'd see in
Yes.
art all over the Middle East because they just love that.
Yes. And now a
Ah,
Rajput armor.
yeah, these are absolutely amazing. They kind of have echoes of some of the Katanga Dahel armors, Mongol armors in Ilkhanate,
Yes.
Iran that you see in the
Yes.
miniatures, particularly in Shiraz.
They do.
You
Yes.
see that shaped shoulder guard.
Yes.
And I mean, some of these, as this one has metal plates incorporated into the armor,
Yes.
and that's a big metal plate. That's almost Charina size.
Yeah,
It's
let me
also
just
got
show it to our viewers. Bead
yeah,
means here, central disc. Then there are here plates under on the side.
yeah,
Then we have
and on
Bazban,
the skirts as well.
shoulder,
There's
here on top,
yeah,
and on the thighs.
yeah.
Unbelievable.
So this is a kind of very composite style of armor because it's using different ways. Now, possibly originally the coat of a thousand nail style armor was originally a kind of brigandine, and these were rivet heads, but the rivet heads became decorative, and then to make it more effective, they put whole steel plates in there. These are really exceptionally good looking. They normally are a front and back piece that lace together on the sides and do up over the shoulders. And sometimes the thigh panels are four separate skirt sections that go completely around the body. So that you would be able to move very freely in one. Whether they were mainly padded armor with steel reinforcement or they still had small plates in them, I think they were probably just padded because by this stage, the you see how the really strongly defend the collarbones,
Mhm.
which is an area that maces and swords can break those bones and put you out of commission.
Mhm.
Uh, so it's a very good area to protect.
Yeah.
Um, but the shape of those shoulder guards are absolutely beautiful. Oh, they've also got steel pieces on them too. I just
Oh, yeah,
noticed.
that's right.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of these laid out flat with all the pieces laid out, and they're if you were a reenactor today and you wanted to make a really good looking armor that was quite effective, you would, if you learned how these were made, I think you could do really well because I think you can make them very flexible at the same time as protecting all the important parts of your body.
Yeah.
Um, but they are really works of art, aren't they? The way
Yeah.
the patterns are along the borders of the various pieces are done with these tiny little nails. The one armor I saw up close, I was a male armor, and that decorative border was done on the edges of the mail where the it overlapped, and they were actually small gold nails.
Yes. Yes, they are.
They weren't actually gilded; they were solid gold. Um, just I suppose just to show off.
Very
There's
beautiful.
lots of good looking things in this photograph though.
Yes. They're so,
I
it's so
really like it.
beautiful. Pete, look at
Yeah.
this. Look at this. Look at the intricate
Oh, the
design.
shoulder is perfect, isn't it?
Yeah. And watered steel, right? Look.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. This is such uh high grade. And I mean, like if you live in England, you can go to I think Leeds has got the Royal Army at Leeds has got some of these. Metropolitan Museum of Art, I think, has in America. Um, these are really attractive armors, and they would be so stunning. You could imagine, a troop of guardsmen marches up wearing those. It would be so impressive. And actually, to some degree, they're quite functional.
Yes. Very nice.
Mm.
Hmm. Look at these.
And yeah, so he's got a nice. Well, that looks like a kanda.
It is, yes.
He's wearing. Um, they Yeah, are they like three-piece folding um uh calf protection?
Yes.
The shoes are done in the same style as the body of the armor with the little nose.
The shoes look very nice. Huh?
I know this. They're probably actually boots because I've seen boots made in that style that go, like
You're right, they're
up your
boots.
calf,
He has
and
this
then they
soft
put
band. He has the shin
uh,
protectors on top of. You're right.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah, and they put the grooves on over the top of them.
yes, yes.
And of course, this is a dummy. The grooves close up entirely, and
Yeah,
you lose the shape of the boots.
yeah,
But yeah, this is just high fashion meets armor.
yeah. You can go and walk on a catwalk, right? In
Yeah,
Paris with that. So beautiful it is, really.
I would certainly stand out. No doubt about it.
Yeah, really nice.